Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day one of the 3-day money challenge. I am just making sure I'm all set up here and I'm clicking record. Awesome. What this is going to do is this is also going to be uploaded as a podcast, because I know and you know how annoying it is sometimes when you want the information from a Facebook Live, but how to watch it, you've got to have the Facebook Live app open all the time. And I don't know about you guys, but that really frustrates me because I'm a big multitasker. So this is also going to be uploaded as a podcast. Hi, Liv. Whoever's jumping on, please let me know if you can hear me okay. I really need to know that this is actually working, because it's Holly's in the background playing today. It's a little bit windy where I am, and I've got my lapel mic on. So let me know if you can hear me okay. I just need to make sure that before I start diving into day one of the challenge, which is really exciting. So thank you for joining and hanging out with me. So basically, I wanted to do this challenge because you guys know I'm really passionate about money mindset, but also because I really truly believe that the world needs more wealthy women, and that kids need to see their mothers stepping up into a place where they're comfortable with becoming wealthy women, where kids aren't growing up seeing mum struggling for money, dad making money, and that's just kind of like the circle and the options that we give them. I really, truly believe that mums have the power to totally transform the mindset of the next generation. So, hi, can you find? Awesome. Thank you, Brianna. By the way, my sister let me know that I have a message from you. I will get back to that. I will check it out later today. My inbox is literally overflowing. So I really believe, I have notes, obviously, because there's a lot I want to share with you guys, that more women need to, oh my God, you guys have to do this. I have to show you. This is not planned. Can you see? That's my daughter trying to go through the dog door. Oh my God. I'm so professional right now. Like, this is just, I know you went through the doggy door. This is so unbelievably professional with the wind, and it's just too nice to be inside right now. It's like 28 degrees. It's sunny, it's beautiful, and my daughter's climbing through the doggy door as I'm trying to chat with you guys. So basically, this challenge, this is for mums that want more, who know that there's more inside them. They just don't really know how to get it. And a lot of the time, we don't know how to take that next step because it is our money mindset, or it is our beliefs and our stories that we've accumulated over our lifetime. That's what's holding us back. So what I want to be able to do through the challenge over the next 3 days is give you 3 topics to think about and to do some internal work on that can create lasting change when it comes to your mindset. And now she's trying to cut me with a leaf. For those of you guys that just jumped on, we just got to watch Holly try and crawl through the dog door, which she succeeded at, which now I'm going to have to go and look for a lock for the cat flap on the back of our door. You're very cheeky. So we're chatting all about money story. So when I say money, what does that mean to you? And what do you feel about money? If I got you to picture a wealthy person, what type of thoughts and images and words come up for you? Like, what is your current relationship with money? What are you trying to break? A skateboard. Okay. What is your actual relationship with money? Because I think identifying where you're currently at with money is a really, really good place to begin. And that's kind of where we have to begin, because everyone has a money story. And for a long time, if I thought about money, it was definitely just like fear, anxiety, panic. It was not a good place if I thought about money, if I thought about a wealthy person. Katie says busy and freedom. Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it. And we'll dive a little bit into tomorrow what the negative connotations around making money are, because that's definitely something that comes up. A lot of us block our own success by realizing how much busy we are going to be when we make a next level of money. So very, very interesting subconscious side of things there. Brianna, freedom, choice. Yeah, awesome. I do. I believe money is the key to freedom and choice. She promised to stay inside, and she's not. What? What'd you do? Oh, you scratched your knee. You'll be okay. Rub some dirt in it. Yeah, you're all right. You're all right. So what does money mean to you? Like, really, we have to identify that first. Calm. Awesome. I love that, Anna. I know you're really, really great at this with your own money story and kind of owning your ambition. You guys, Anna has a Facebook page all about being a mum of 4 who is also just like badass owning the fact that she loves her job and her career. So you should definitely, Anna, please put the link in here so people can go and check it out, because I think that would be awesome. So today we're going to begin to kind of understand your money story. So we all have a story around money. Every single person on earth has a story around money, because when you're in the ages 1 to 7, you are basically a little sponge and you're absorbing everything around you from your parents, from you know, I don't know, I didn't have social media when I was 1 to 7, but all the TV shows you watch, the books you read, the people that you're surrounded by, and the messages that you're getting from these people form the basis of your belief system. He's going through the doggy door again. Okay, please be careful, because it's rusty and about like 40 years old. And I don't feel like taking you to hospital to get a tetanus shot. Be careful. She's going to get stuck. It's going to be hilarious. You know, that forms the beliefs and the systems for the rest of your life. So I want you to have a think about, what was your parents' attitude towards money, your parents' attitude towards wealth. If there was a rich person in your life, what did your parents think about it? What did they say? What type of words did they use around money? Did money, you know, instigate stress or, you know, arguments around bills? Or was money something that you just never had? Was money something you had a lot of and so was frittled away on not the wrong things, but there's certainly some money stories out there where it's like we had a lot of money, but it always went on things that didn't matter. So what's the money story for you? All right. Money stories is a belief that you've been taught about money between the ages of 1 to 7. And then what happens is they get reaffirmed, those beliefs, as we go on through life. So to kind of give you an example, my mum really, really struggled with money. She grew up in a household where her mum was a single mum. Her dad left when they were 14, and her mum didn't work. She was on a disability. So they just had welfare. It was her mum and welfare and 3 daughters. And they would all have to sleep in the same room because they were in a 2-bed housing trust house, and, you know, like the full poverty pack story, right? And my mum would always, you know, come home from school and there would be no water, there would be no power, there'd be no electricity for a few days because the bill didn't get paid, type of thing. So my mum grew up in that scenario, and that fear of there's never enough money, or, you know, there's always something bad going to happen, or you always need to have more money than you need in case the power goes and the water goes, in case you know, the man of the family who's earning the money stops working, like whatever it was. She had this big scarcity, that there was never enough money for everyone, and there certainly wasn't enough money for her. And how that carried through onto the rest of her life was she was the biggest tight ass you've ever met. So I always thought we were poor. I actually thought we were a poor family, all right, because I heard we can't afford it multiple times a day. I thought we were poor. And now I look back and have conversation with my parents, and we were actually really, really well off. Like, we had 2 houses. My parents always owned their cars. My dad was on a really, really great wage, and they always had a lot of money in the bank. But I didn't know that. As a kid, I thought we were poor, because that's kind of the message that I got. It was always, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. You know, there's never enough, or, you know, we just save it for a rainy day. I would even get birthday money, and it would be very much like, you know, when my kids get birthday money, they want to go and spend it straight away. And I kind of have to let them make that decision. But for me as a kid, me and my sister, if we got birthday money, we would save it for years. And then we would be so scared to spend it because we didn't know when we would get it again. And that is the mindset that I have carried through my entire life up to now. Was this belief that we were poor even though we weren't. Was this belief that there's never going to be enough. Was this belief that once you have money, you do not let it go for anything. That you know, you kind of put such a high value on money. If I got $150 for Christmas one year, you know, accumulated from multiple Christmases, multiple grandmothers who didn't feel like going shopping, who just give it to you in a card. If I had $150, I would hoard that for years, because I was so I didn't have any money, that the fact of spending it on something felt like nothing was ever going to be, like, what if I spent it on something and then I regretted it? What if I bought a toy that I really wanted and 2 weeks later I didn't buy a toy and then I would regret not having the money to go do something else with it? I was just living in constant scarcity mindset. And I never realized until I went, oh my God, that's my money story. So what's your money story? What's the things that you have been told or shown about money from your family, from your parents, from TV, from whatever it is? What does rich equal to you? And like, it's important now to go back to your childhood and think, because you might, on the surface level now, you might be thinking, oh, money's great, money equals freedom, money equals choice, money equals a calm mum because I'll have lots of spare money to put my kids in daycare. But really, if you've grown up your entire life and you had a certain family member, maybe an uncle or an aunt that was really successful and that made a lot of money, and you remember your mum and dad talking bad about that person, saying that they were selfish or greedy, or they may have had a lot of money but they weren't happy, like saying all this type of stuff, that can actually have a subconscious block within you that is stopping you being successful, because it is the money story that holds us back. You can be doing absolutely everything right in life. You can be, taking care of your finance. You can be working so hard in your business. You can be creating momentum. You can be booking clients. You can be doing whatever you want to do. But if there is something subconsciously inside you that says money equals evil, that wealth equals bad, that a rich person is not a good person, you will forever be stuck in a place of poverty, because your limiting belief within yourself will not let you be successful. Okay, so you can see how on the surface it's all good to say, I want more money and I'm going to be amazing and I'm going to transform my life and create an incredible future for my kids. But subconsciously, we block ourselves from moving forwards. Sorry if I'm getting super passionate about this. I just do. Because I lived so many years stuck in a place of, not in a place of poverty, but in a full-on mindset of poverty, that there's never enough money, that you have to save everything for a rainy day. I would have $500 in the bank and be freaking the fuck out stressed. And I would have $50,000 in the bank and still be freaking the fuck out stressed, because it never felt like enough. And that's the big moment for me within this transformation. It wasn't, what is it actually going to take for me to feel okay about money? And that's when I realized, even if I had $3 million in the bank, I would still be terrified that it would go, that something would happen and it would leave. So you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have a mindset to match that money, you will never be able to break free from money guilt. Ever. So as we all kind of have a figure in our head that we think is going to magically make everything better. And I just want you to understand that it won't, unless you have the mindset work behind you to actually match that level of income. So that level of money in your life will never, or a level of money in your life will never exceed your level of personal development, your level of ABC Kids here will never exceed your own level. Here I am working, putting ABC Kids on. Where are you going to have it?
In my room.
Okay. Just while Mummy's working. We just put up a princess bed canopy in her room, so she just wants to sit in her bed all day with this princess canopy thing on, and I'm just waiting for her to get too excited and rip it down from the roof. Okay. She's going to rip it down from the roof, and there's going to be a giant hole, and Aaron's going to get home from work and be like, I told you not to do it without me, but I did it. You guys are like, this chick's a mess. Oh, well, that's my hot mess mum mug. So what was I talking about? A couple of people are on. Let me know, what was I talking about? And are you getting any value for this? Is this helping? Are you kind of having a little bit of clarity around your money story? What's going on? All right, I'm going to put a question in here, and I'm going to type it so you can see it as well. You're next. I want you guys to let me know with this. When it comes to your money story, it is not something that you can fix overnight. It is something that takes consistent work and acknowledgement, because even someone like me who's been fully invested into working on money mindset for years now, It's the fact that I can have a big moment of clarity and think, yep, this is it. I'm finally over all my money blocks holding me back. And then a couple of weeks later, I'll watch a movie from when I was a kid and realize there are still so many blocks to work through. Okay. So your level of personal development, your level of self-awareness, your level of mindset, like what you are an energetic match to in this world, that is what is either helping you succeed or it's stopping you from succeeding. Because what we see is, you know, people like those celebrities who have, you know, a really, really amazing 2 or 3 hit records, and they go from making YouTube videos in their bedroom to super, super rich. And then they lose it all again. And like, you never hear from them again because they're working at Subway and they've had all their $1 million mansion houses defaulted. Or you hear about people who win the lottery and end up more broke and miserable than before. And what happens in society is we say, oh, well, that's just because money is the root of all evil, or money is a bad thing, or you can never be happy and have money at the same time. We put that experience, we put all these stories on that experience saying it's money's fault. But what it actually is when people get a large amount of money really, really quickly, that they don't have the mindset to match to that energy, like to that level of money, you know, it will always counteract itself out. So if you have the mindset first of someone who's abundant, who's wealthy, who has a great relationship with money, the income or the wealth will grow to meet you. Whereas if you suddenly get the money by winning the lottery or something, and you keep your mindset level down here, that money will decrease to once again to match you. So the level of wealth in your life is a direct reflection of the energetic match you are aligned with. I'm just going to check comments here. I just laughed out loud and thought, shit, I have a poverty mindset. It is. We all, I think a lot of us grew up in the poverty mindset, because really, if you think about it, like your money story is passed on from your family most of the time. And, you know, they get their money story from their family, and they get their money story from their family. So it goes up and up and up. So if you think about it, that depression era, fear and lack, and there's never going to be enough, and guard every cent you have and work really, really hard, that has trickled down for generations to generations. And I feel like we are at a generation now where we can decide to either continue that poverty mindset to our children and pass that on and just continue the cycle, or we can decide, we've got enough self-awareness to decide, this is where it stops. This is where it ends. I will give my children the gift of an abundance mindset versus a poverty mindset. Like my child's, Eric's gonna be 7 in a couple of weeks. I'm like, the window is closing. But like between 1 to 7, what did he experience as a money story? And for the first few years, it definitely would have been a massive poverty mindset. I mean, at one point, my husband was earning $300 a week as an apprentice, and our mortgage was $325 a week. Like, I look back and I'm like, how did we survive? How did we survive? So the first few years, my son definitely would have experienced that extreme poverty mindset. Like, we can't go out here, we can't go out there. He would have seen me walk everywhere in the pram, not because I wanted to be healthy, because I couldn't afford fuel to go anywhere. He would have seen us go to every free activity that we possibly could around locally. You know, and then over time, he's been able to see that change, see that mindset change to one of abundance, one that is open to possibilities, that is attracting money, that focuses on personal development. And the fact now that my son, if I ask him, like, what do you want to do what are you going to do when you grow up, Eric? He wants to be an environmentalist. He wants to travel the world cleaning up the beaches for the animals, especially the turtles. But he also wants to own a CrossFit gym. So the fact that I've given him that abundance mindset, that he knows he can run a business, but he can also follow his passion, and that's okay. You know, I feel like that's my work done. And what I want to do is help other mums be able to give that gift to their kids, that gift of an abundance mindset and not being stuck in poverty. So what is your money story? Like, let's get real, like share if you feel comfortable here. What is your money story? I mean, I went to visit my sister at Port Pirie the other day, and I was watching is it The Little Rascals, I think? Yeah, The Little Rascals movie, which I haven't seen in years, and it used to be one of my favorites. Like, I got a pickle, I got a pickle, I got a pickle, hey, hey, hey. I used to love that movie so much. We had it like on old VHS recorded from the TV, and we would watch it over and over and over again until it had like these skips in it where it was just, the tape was so worn. Like that and Mary Poppins were two of my favorites. But I look back at those movies. So my two favorite movies as a child, The Little Rascals and Mary Poppins. In The Little Rascals, the villains of the show, there's probably two groups of villains. There's the young like bully guys who are all really like punk and 80s and kind of like steampunk, which is really cool. But the other villain of the show is the rich kid. I don't even remember what his name is, but I was watching this the other day. I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, kids, don't pay attention to this. Like, it's a funny story, but don't pay attention. Because I'm like, if I let that impact my money story, how is this impacting their money story? I watched that movie over and over again. The kid in that, which has the rich parents, Donald Trump's his dad in the movie, by the way. So if you can go back and watch this on Netflix, it's hilarious to see him in that movie. But essentially the bad guy is this rich kid who is selfish and obnoxious and like just a total slimy cheeseball, and he steals the girl and he does this and he does that. And so what we see is that from a kid's perspective, like, this movie is a children's movie. As a child, between the ages of 1 to 7, we are learning to associate that the bad person, that the manipulative, lying, awful, greasy type of person is wealthy, is rich, is the rich kid. So that's a message that we play over and over and over again. So if I wanted to become really, really wealthy, I'm not like super wealthy, I'm not going to be an obnoxious twat here, but if I wanted to become, you know, even more wealthy than I am now, but I've spent my entire life watching things where wealthy people are the bad people, do you think on a conscious level I might want to become more wealthy, but on a subconscious level I'm going, but if I make more money, I'm going to be slimy and greedy and evil and be the bad person, right? So you can see how that subconscious money story is totally blocking you from actually stepping up into the next level. We know if I'm on Facebook Live, I'm just going to play with my hair the whole time. We're adding wind. It's not helping. Apologies in advance. So the other movie, Mary Poppins, that was another one of my favorite movies as a child. And what is the one message now watching that back as an adult is the fact that the parents work really hard, especially the dad, and he provides a wonderful life for his children. And the payoff in the story for that is that he has nothing to do with his children. And his children are not happy and they're kind of neglected and they're just like, we just want some time with our family. And what's it get? Like I must have watched that movie hundreds of times as a child. Same thing where the VHS tape would skip in certain parts and go all fuzzy because it was just that worn out from being played and rewinded all over again. What the entire story is that if you are a wealthy person and you have kids, that makes you a bad parent because you will neglect your child. You will choose work over your family. You will not have family time. You will not have balance. Your kids will end up miserable. So if you are a parent, and I'm gathering you are because you're part of this page, which is for mums who want more, and there's part of you consciously that knows, I want to create more wealth. I want to run an amazing business. I want to chase my career. I want to have this incredible life where I can provide amazing things to my family. But on a subconscious level, you've been told over and over and over and over again through all these different subliminal messages, through all these different beliefs that you've gathered your entire life, that if you are wealthy and a parent, that means you must be a bad parent. Do you think that subconsciously you might be blocking and repelling money, repelling wealth and success and opportunity away from you because you don't want to be that bad parent that you've seen? You know, Mary Poppins, was it Richie Rich? Another one where it's like, we have all this money, but like, looking at it from a parent's point of view, it's kind of saying, if you have all this money and wealth and success, you will neglect your child, or your child will be really lonely and miserable. That's kind of what, like, this subconscious stuff that we have going on. So that's why, and I know this sounds totally like hippie and weird, but I feel like sometimes I have to screen the type of stuff my kids are watching, because it gets to a point where you realize how important the messages are that you are absorbing between the ages of like 1 to 7. So what type of messages are my kids getting? Like, they watch The Little Rascals, and I'm like telling them, but ignore the bit about the rich guy being the bad guy, because it's not always true. And I feel like those money stories, you know, we have this association in our head that rich equals bad, that money equals greed, that wealthy equals selfish, and it's just not true. But it's what we've heard over and over and over again till it becomes a part of our subconscious. And I feel like the difference between people who choose to stay in a poverty mindset, choose to stay in a place of lack and scarcity, versus choose to create a life of wealth and abundance, is that decision that they're not going to listen to that story anymore. That they are going to rewrite it and choose something different. So how's it going, guys? Is this helping? Brianna, yes, I'm pregnant with number 2 right now. Congratulations. And I keep thinking that I can't make money now because I won't be able to sustain it later. It's so cyclical. There's just been procrastinating. I know that I can't, but I know that, but I can't break it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I've created the whole course around, is the fact of knowing it, but not really sure how to break it. And it really is a choice. You can choose to keep making the same decisions you've made your entire life, to keep having the same thoughts and the same belief systems and pass them on to your kids, or you can choose to do the complete opposite. Because you think about it, everything you've done up until this point has kept you in that poverty mindset. And all you have to do is choose a different path. So I have an amazing friend in the US. His name's Garen, and he's been through different times in his life where he was really, really, really successful. Like, I'm talking an actor, like best friends with Channing Tatum, a model, you know, making millions and millions of dollars. And he's also been in jail for multiple years on drug charges, like at the lowest of low, living in a shipping container, living out of his car, like completely broke. And, you know, he's been up and down in these cycles his entire life, really, really wealthy, really, really, really in a state of poverty. And it took a point where he was standing at the bottom of a shopping mall, you know, the escalators. And it was one decision that he went, my entire life, I've been repeating this cycle of rich wealth, poor, broke. Like, yeah, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I need coffee. He's repeating that cycle his entire life. And he went, my entire life, I've always taken the escalator. If I want to change the direction of my life, if I want to create a different story for my kids, then I need to do the opposite to what I've always done. So for him, that was as simple as, you know, there was the escalators and the stairs. And he went, I always take the escalator, now I take the stairs. And it was every opportunity that came up to him, and it's like, you know, come out for drinks with us, or do this, or do that, or maybe you should come and look at this investment seminar. Whatever he said no to in the past, he knew he needed to say yes to now. Like, you've got to actually take action to create change. So there's things, you know, and for me, it came down to, I would always go online and I would look at these programs or these courses, things that could change my life. And I knew they could, and I put them in my cart and I'd think about it, and I'd have like a stress, anxiety, money attack, and then I'd click out of it. And I would never go through with the purchase. And one of the first things I did when I decided to change my money mindset was decide that if I was called to do something and I got that far into it, I needed to press yes. I needed to click go. I needed to, when someone said, come around, or this opportunity came up to collab with people, I needed to do it if I wanted to create a different reality. So tell me more about your money story. I would love to hear after we've been chatting. How long have we been chatting for? I don't think it will tell me. Maybe about 30 minutes. I don't know. Oh no, here we go, up the top. 28 minutes. We've been chatting for 28 minutes. What is your money story? What are the thoughts that come up for you around money? What have you been shown about money in the past? I remember there was always a budget. There was a budget and a weight, like a diet stuck on the fridge my entire childhood growing up. Very interesting, which is what we're going to talk about later in the week, is actually your relationship with your body and yourself, and with sex and with food, and how that actually can really help you clarify where your relationship with money is. So what is your money story? What is the mindset that you were given to from your parents? Do you see rich people as greedy, as evil, or do you see them as, you know, just family members that are awesome? When you think of people like the Kardashians, what do you actually honestly think? Like the Kardashians, I think, like, I wouldn't want to be them. And I don't necessarily agree with everything they do, but I think, like, as business people, they are really, really clever, and they can have some serious impact when they want to. They can also flog stupid shit on Instagram, but if they really wanted to create incredible foundations and charities or impact the world in a positive way, they've got enough influence to do it. And so I think that's really cool. But what do you think of when you think of a rich person? Who grew up watching The Simpsons? Did anyone grow up watching The Simpsons? Give me like a like or a love heart or something. Because I actually wasn't allowed to. I was not allowed to watch The Simpsons. I wasn't allowed to watch Home and Away. I wasn't allowed to watch Neighbours. We basically watched the news our entire life. I'm not even kidding. My dad, we get home from school, and Dad would watch the 4:30 report, the 5 o'clock, like the 6 o'clock, 7:30, and then the late report. It was just like, it was news from dawn to dusk, right? So we weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons. But every now and again, I'd be at a friend's house, or, Dad would be away for work, and we'd get to watch The Simpsons. Mr. Burns. What do we think of Mr. Burns? Because that is a character we all grew up watching, a character that's wealthy, but the character that's also, well, like an asshole. He's not a nice person. He's greedy and manipulative and lies and tortures people and has like the trapdoor. How many people have grown up associating any form of wealth with Mr. Burns type of personality, with a Donald Trump type of personality, with just that evil, greedy, awful person message? So many of us. And we've just seen that story reaffirmed over and over and over and over again, to a part of us in our subconscious believes it. And it's that part of you, that money story, that is what is blocking you from moving forward. And the easiest way to start working on that is acknowledgement. That's all it takes. There's not some magic switch that you can just like go, oh, all right, this is the money story I had, this is the money story I'm going to have moving on. Like, that's why I've created a 6-week program that slowly works through that. But the first step is acknowledgement. If you can acknowledge full-heartedly what your money story currently is and where it's come from, and a great way of this is just to open a journal and start journaling out, like, what do I feel about money? And just like write it all, let it all flow out of you. The easiest way to move forward is acknowledgement, just going, this is my money story, this is where it's come from. And then just it's awareness. It's being aware of it. When you are watching movies with your kids, just be aware of the messages. When you're looking back at your own life, your own childhood, when you're having conversations with those influential people in your life, your parents, your family, this, that, be aware of the money story that they have, that they are trying to unconsciously and unknowingly, because they're not doing this on purpose. They love you. They're just doing the best they can. They are unknowingly put that onto you. I mean, I had a conversation the other day with my mom, and in the same sentence, she told me how much she was freaking out because their council rates, they've got 3 properties, right? How much the council rates were on each property. She was panicking about that. But in the same sentence told me how they'd bought like some $8,000 new thing for their caravan. And it just like, that was just a massive shock. I'm like, that money story is still there. That has been replaying her entire life. It's still there. And I just make a choice not to let it into me anymore. I will not adopt anyone else's money story, their money blueprint for the way they live their life. I've just decided that now I have my own, and it's no one else's, and I won't be influenced by that. So yeah, let me know, how has this been helpful? How are you feeling with all of this? Because we're going to go into some other stuff over the next 2 days that are really going to crank it up a little bit and go to the next level. This is kind of like your introductory, saying like, this is why you think about money, this is why you have guilt and fear about money, or you don't. Maybe you have a really, really great money story, which is full on about abundance and being wealth, and that money is really awesome and it causes like circulation and choices and freedom and all that, and that's awesome. But if you have a negative money story, this is where we need to start, at identifying that negative money story. And then over the next 2 days, we're going to work on some actual activities to start manifesting more money, to put you in an energetic alignment to attract more money. And we're also going to dive a little bit deeper into how you can create those feelings of wealth to match that energy right now, like literally tomorrow. So the challenge for day 1, which I will read right up in the top comments of this as well, your challenge for day 1 is to write out 50 things you are grateful for. Because gratitude, the energy of gratitude matches the energy of wealth and abundance and self-love. So you have to put yourself into a place where to attract more of what you want, you have to be grateful for what you do have. So I want you to get a notepad and pen, or, it is actually, I was going to say put it in the notes in your phone, but no, this is something you've got to write down physically. You've got to put pen to paper. And I want you to, 1 to 50, and then I want you to do 50 things that you are grateful for. Because what that's going to do is that is going to put you in such a high vibe, abundant place, realizing all the amazing things that you have so far. And it might sound really difficult, 50 things to be grateful for, but it's actually really hard to only write 50, okay? Because you'll want to keep going. I think the first time I did like 120, I was like, oh shit, I was only meant to 50. But it is really, really helpful to realize all the amazing things you actually do have around you. Like, I'm sitting on a beautiful outdoor setting right now. I have a computer. I have lungs that breathe. I have these amazing boobs that have just come up all of a sudden. My dream car's in the driveway. My daughter is playing. I have a daughter. Like, what are you grateful for? Get really grateful, okay? I'm just going to check the comments. Oh, my story is so negative. I grew up in a family of alcoholics and drug addicts that lived off Centrelink my entire life. I'm literally teaching myself from scratch. I need your help. Wow. Is it Cleona? Is that how I say it? Babe, I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. So awesome. Being really honest now, yeah, my mum was up in welfare, and her entire family is still in that place. It makes Christmases really, really awkward, like the same thing like Centrelink, welfare, drugs, etc. My dad, back in the 1970s, 1980s, whatever it was, how bad's that? I don't even know. But he read an article. He's in the fire service. And he was reading an article. He works down in some really low income areas that it takes 3 generations to fully break a cycle and move to, that generational wealth. And so he went home that night and told my mum, he's like, we need to move now. We need to get out of this place. We need to make a choice to create a different life for our children. And they made the physical choices and they took the physical actions. They didn't necessarily do all the mindset work behind that to create a different reality, because we still have a lot of that poverty mindset there. But it is important. Like, you have to decide right now, Cleona, you have to decide right now that you are breaking a cycle, that you will not continue any of that messaging, that you will completely redirect the way this goes from now on. And that's so important. It's so powerful, and I'm so proud of you. In terms of needing my help, Money for Mummy. I'm not going to put a link in here, but you can find it on my website, because what I want to do right now is post a link in for the Badass Calculator Kickstarter kit, which is my little offer for you guys today. So you can get, this is like the Kickstart kit for the Money for Money program. So Money for Mummy is a 6-week program, which, I only, that's for people, if you are serious, if you really want to actually change what you're doing. But the Kickstarter kit was created because I want to give you an actual calculator, which you can use as a budget, which you can use for the rest of your life. It's what I use. It's what my, clients that are worth $1.7 million use. It's really, really easy. It's idiot proof, and it works. And I also want to give you the 5 money mindset questions to go with it. So that's what you're going to get with the Kickstarter bundle. It's $7. The link's in the comments. I'm not going to go into it too much, because basically, if you're listening to this and you're resonating with what I'm saying, you'll know if this is for you or not. I don't need to sell you on it. Like, just close your eyes, hand on heart. Do I want to change this? Yes, then do it. Like, it's no skin off my nose, whatever. But it is awesome. You will get a lot of value out of it. And what have I got to do now? What have you guys got to do? I'm actually going to go do some more journaling, because even talking about this with you guys, about the movies that I watched during a child, I've definitely got some stuff coming up about like hating Alison Ashley, Lizzie McGuire, Gossip Girl. What else did I used to watch as a kid? There is so much stuff coming up right now about the fact that we're just portrayed as rich being bad, rich being evil, and it's not. Like, I know all the wealthy people that I know, some of my clients are worth 1.2, 1.5, 1.7 million. Some of my friends are really, really successful women, and they are the most generous and selfless and incredible women. Because if you think of this, we're going to talk about tomorrow, what does the money actually have a purpose for? Like, if you just want money for the sake of having money, boring. You just want 20 grand to just like sit on your kitchen table and look at 20 grand. That's not exciting. That's not sexy. No one wants that. If you want 20 grand so that you can go and take your kids around a trip of Australia and educate them on all different cultures, if you want 20 grand so you can, kick off a foundation or an event for families, do you want 20 grand so you can take your mum to Alaska because she's been wanting to go her entire life? Like, what is the actual money for? All right, before I get too off track and start talking about tomorrow's activities, today's activity, 50 things you are grateful for. Make sure you click the link and get the Kickstarter bundle for $7. You can check out Money for Mummy if you want to on www.sexyselfish.com. In the courses section, all the information's in there. There is a payment plan available, which is awesome. And I will speak to you guys tomorrow. If you are watching the recording, please comment. I will try and get back and check in with all of you about your money stories. If you've had any massive breakthroughs that you want to have a one-on-one chat with me about, you can also work with me one-on-one. It's in the same section in courses if you want to have a one-on-one chat about it. And Holly's locked herself out of ABC Kids. What is this saying? 1582. Parent settings. 0840. Okay, now don't play with the settings. All right, I'm going to go make her some snacks, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Actually, before I go, if you've got any value out of this at all and you want to share it with a friend, please add them to the group, comment below, comment in this video, and just let them know that, you know, it's really helped you a lot and that you want to share that with them, because we want to spread the message. We want to get as many mums as possible feeling comfortable with being wealthy, comfortable with the idea of attracting abundance into their life, and as many mums as possible learning that they can break this cycle for the next generation. We have control. We are life creators, life givers and nurturers. Go do some epic shit. What are you watching? Oh, okay. That show. The High on Magic Mushroom show. All right. Bye, guys. Have an amazing day.